La 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 Kannari na.
Students, welcome for to the online class. Already we have discussed in the previous class about the medieval India and the political transition. In this lesson, so we come to know the early attack of the Turks in India who were ruling. The Rajputs were ruling, and the details about the Rajput multi-state system, how they administrated, that already we have discussed. So today we are going to discuss about the contribution of the Rajputs. I told you Rajputs were the ancient clan from the Surya Vamsha, and they have also have a good talent in art culture, and they have a different kind of liberally some ethics in their life. They have concentrated towards to the development of an different kind of an art and architecture. So many of the Rajput kings themselves they were scholars, and they also ignored many poets and the scholars in their court. This encouraged them to write a different kind of a literature. King Munja had poets of Padmagupta and Halayuda in his court. The King Bhoja had extended the royal patronage to the Jain scholars. Shanti Sena, Paramachandra Suri, and the Ghanapala during his rule. The poetic works like Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, Bharavi's Kiritarjuniya, Bhruttahari wrote Ravanavada, Mahendrapala Kavya Mimamsa were written during the rule of the Rajputs. Drama like Rajashekara's Balaramayana and Karpura Manjari. Bhavabhuti wrote Mahavira Charita and Uttaramacharita, and the historical works like Kallana's Rajatarangini, Jayanka's Prithviraj Vijaya, and Hemi Chandra Kumarapala Charita are the important works which were written during the time of the Rajputs. Prithviraj Raso, it is one of the book which is going to give the detail about the Prithviraj Chauhan. It was written by Chand Bardai, and Bhoja Prabandha was written by Ballala. These are all the noted biographies of the Rajput rulers. My dear students, biography means you know. So which is going to be written on a particular person about his achievements. So these all kind of books are going to give us the detail, the achievements of some important rulers and the scholars who lived during the time of half of the 12th century to beginning of the 13th century. And we come to know during the time of Rajputs there were institutions which are going to attract many foreigners from China or maybe from Persia to come for learning about the Buddhism. Which are that educational institution developed during the time of Rajputs means one is Nalanda University, Kashi, Vikramashila, Ujjaini. These are all the universities received a lot of money, charity from the Rajput rulers, and they encouraged for the high literature and development. Due to the protection of these kind of universities, so many literary works came to be glanced during the time of the Rajputs. And the Rajput kings constructed very famous forts also. Even today in North India, what they have constructed the fort, either the palaces, even today they are very world famous. Among that, the Chittor, Mandu, Ranthambore, Jodhpur, Gwalior, these are all in the North India. They built many palaces also. So even today most of the palaces converted into a 5-star and 7-star hotel. So which are the famous palaces you can see in the present films also. Many films are going to be shooted in the Udaipur and Jaipur, Gwalior. So Dilwar temple and Vimala temple and Lunavasi temple were all built near to the Mount Abu. And Mount Abu is also a beautiful known to its artistic structure. The Chandelas built Kandaria temple in Khajuraho. Shiva, Vishnu temples were more in number among the temples built during their time. Even today, many of the temples which were constructed during the time of Rajputs, they are included in the World Heritage of UNESCO. So they also encouraged paintings also. The wonderful painting, the special painting of the Rajputs are also called as Rajasthani painting style and Pahari painting style. Rajasthani painting style you can see in Mewar, Bikaner, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer and the Buni. And Pahari paintings you can see in Kausali, Jammu and the Garhwal. Like this, the Rajputs have special place in the history of India. And this much of a prosperous a multi-state Rajput kingdom, how it become decline by the inventions of a Turks and also the establishment of the Delhi Sultans in India. Day by day, the Rajputs lost their all kingdoms because they were divided into multi-state administration. This become a boon and opportunity for the Turks to defeat easily the Rajputs and to conquer day by day the small states which were under the control of many Rajput dynasties. They never did not become unity to fight against with the Turks or maybe to fight against with the Delhi Sultans. These all reasons made the Rajputs to surrender their property for to the Delhi Sultans, and they started to work as employed in the Delhi Sultan's kingdom. But most of the Rajputs family members did not lose their cultural tradition or they did not converted into Islam. So due to that, some kind of superstitions. So to control the Islam religion impact on the Rajputs, they started to follow some kind of blind beliefs and the faiths. Among that, one is a sati system. What is a sati system? You know. So, Hindu woman, suppose her husband died, so she is going to commit self-suicide either by forcibly the members of the Hindu family, they are going to push her into the funeral fire of the husband. So this system practiced because if they become a widow, they are going to be remarried under the Islam system to overcome from the torture and the treatness of the Islam religion. Many Hindu women started to practice a mass suicide that is called as a johar, and a self-suicide it is called as a sati. But this sati and johar system become a practice in a Hindu religion. Many women who lost their husband in early age, they started to sacrifice their life in the funeral fire of the husband. So these kind, the impact of the Islam inventions, Turks invention made the Rajputs glory to get down, and they started to lose their property and everything for to the Delhi Sultans. But during the time of the development of Rajput dynasty from 9th to 12th century, they are very dominant and they earn lot of income. That income they used for the development of many, so the wonderful palaces and the fort. Even today, many forts are not damaged. It is going to give a lot of income for to the tourist department in the North India. So now we come to know very clearly about what made the Rajputs to lose their power in India, and what made the Turks to become dominant and how they day by day defeated the Rajputs and who were the Turks, that we are going to study today in the class. So by defeating the small kingdom of the Rajputs, Turks started to build their empire subsequently in the India. So at the initial stage of the 8th century, they concentrated only on the Sindh region. But day by day what happened, they come to know the wealth of India. They made the attraction for to the many Turks to make continue attack on India, and especially the Turks among one tribe which attacked serially on the India. They are known as a Mongolian tribe. So the Mongolians are the tribal people. They lived in Central Asia. So they followed the Islam culture. Among one of a leader, his name known as Alaptagin, who belonged to this tribe, established his independent state in 963 in Ghazni region of Afghanistan, and the battles between the Turks and the Rajputs started from this period. But soon after the death of Alaptagin in the year 1999 century, the Muhammad Ghazni came into a power and he invaded India 17 times. So the political situation of the Rajputs day by day, when it was going weak, at that time the Muhammad Ghazni invaded India 17 times and he plundered the wealth and collected enormous gold from the India and the wealth also. And not only so the gold and the important, so the temples inside, what the images were carved, beautiful images were carved, that also he has damaged, and many of the women he carried to the Afghanistan to work as an home workers, either in a palaces as a slaves. So this kind of the torture the India has faced during the time of Muhammad Ghazni attack. And later, so the Muhammad Ghazni important invention, so which brought him a lot of wealth and glory, that is Somanatha temple. So this Somanatha temple took more than 1 week to plunder by the Muhammad Ghazni. So because under the lingu, so there were gold, diamond, pearls, these are all carried through the horses from India to Afghanistan. A beautiful images in the Somanatha temple were carried, more than so the 10 ton of a gold plundered during the time of an Somanatha temple invention. Next is an Nagarkot, where the people believe that the snake is going to protect the gold and the ornaments. Many of the Rajput kings, they have stored the gold in the Nagarkot fort, where this information, when Muhammad Ghazni come to know, he attacked on that place and plundered the wealth. Like this 17 times with enormous wealth the Muhammad Ghazni carried and went for to the Afghanistan, and he installed many of the images on the road of Afghanistan, the road which is connecting for to a Moscow. But at the last what happened, he come to know that so the wealth which he is carried, it is not providing him a satisfaction. At the last he was died. And later, the soon after that of the Muhammad Ghazni, and one more dynasty which came into a power in Afghanistan, it is called as a Ghor. So Shansbani, one of an Turk person, so who conquered this Ghor region and started to rule from that area, and later Ghiyazuddin Muhammad Ghor ascended to the throne. He sent his younger brother Mujawuddin Muhammad to establish a Turk rule in India. He is also called as a Muhammad Ghori. So ancestors of the Muhammad Ghori who were, one is Muhammad Ghor, his brother, and one more is an Shansbani. So they are the ancestors. When Muhammad Ghori came to India, the situation helped him to conquer most of the part of the Multan under his control. While sending for to India, so the Muhammad Ghiyazuddin sent lot of soldiers with horse riders for to the India to attack. This helped for to the Muhammad Ghor to attack on Multan and seized the fort, and he made so the Sindh region as a military station, and thereafter he started to plan to attack more and more property which belongs to the Rajputs. He invaded Anilwada of Gujarat and defeated the king. This defeat made him to change his plan, and he made Peshawar a constant place for the planning and to conquer more and more territory which belongs to a Rajputs. A Khusru Malik of Lahore later surrendered for to the Muhammad Ghori. By keeping Lahore as his center, Muhammad Ghazni attacked many parts of India. In all the plans he got succeeded, but in the first Tarain war, which took place in 1191, so when Prithviraj Chauhan was ruling the place at that time, so the Prithviraj Chauhan defeated the Muhammad Ghori in the first battle, but the next year the Muhammad Ghori returned with the large enemy supporters of soldiers and attacked on the Prithviraj Chauhan at Tarain, third Tarain in the year 1192, and he was killed. This made him to get a lot of preparation. So this battle made him to learn some techniques of Rajputs, how they are going to use in attacking on the enemies. The quicker cavalry of a Turks depressed the Rajputs army with slow moving elephants. Govinda Rao and Bola, who were instrumentally in the Rajput victory during the first Tarain battle, were killed. Prithviraj Chauhan was imprisoned. Prithviraj continued to a rule for a while after his surrender. Muhammad appointed his slave to take care the owned area whatever he conquered. So later when Muhammad Ghor returned for the Afghanistan, when he was murdered soon after the murder of Muhammad Ghori in Afghanistan, the slave who appointed by Muhammad Ghori in India, his name known as Qutbuddin Aibak, he announced himself he was a king of the Delhi. Like this, the Islam kingdom took birth in India, and not only took birth, it stationed permanently in India by the attack of Muhammad Ghori and his slave who settled down in the India, his name known as Qutbuddin Aibak. The victory of a Ghor had many major political implications. The political consisting of small kingdom vanished and centralized power came into a system in India, and the system administration became too different than the Rajput administration. The king known as a sultan, so he appointed many ministers in his court, and to look after the military administration they appointed a separate royal representative, and he always want to support for to the king in the time whenever he is going to conduct the battle against with the enemies. Like this, a new political system, military system, and changes in the Indian diplomatic relation started to change hereby during the time of Qutbuddin Aibak. So, how the Delhi Sultans ruled Delhi as their capital, how many dynasties are there in Delhi Sultans, that all we are going to learn in the next class. Until, keep listening the videos in the next coming days, and whatever the concept I have explained you today, so revise it at once very clearly in the home and prepare the notes. If you have any doubt regarding to the explained topic, let we discuss and confirm by making chatting in the WhatsApp. So thank you listening, keep watching, goodbye.